back, ladies and gentlemen, to Madre Tierra Gold Mining's channel, the new business model in gold. Joining us today is the Chief Executive Officer, Sasha. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Such
a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, such a pleasure, man. So you guys are doing a really interesting thing in the gold market, and I kind of want to break this down in a few videos, talk a little bit about the financing, how you guys are going public. But first and foremost, you're kind of operating almost a pricing arbitrage, I'm going to say, purchasing gold from Colombia's countryside and then selling it in the international markets. Can you break this business model down to a new investor, kind of like an elevator pitch? How is this kind of working for you?
Absolutely. So if anybody's ever invested in junior exploration companies or mining companies, you know that there's a lot of risk when it comes to geological risk, right? You're putting money into the ground, you're drilling with the expectation and sometimes hope that you're gonna discover something. And the difference here is that we have a commercialization license that allows us to not have to go through that geological risk and mine development process. We can purchase finished gold or unrefined gold from existing small scale miners and operators in Colombia. And we do that at a discount to spot because there's still a few steps to get it to the market. So we capture that spread because we're taking on basically the last mile when it comes to getting gold from the mine to the refinery or the spot market. And that's really where we're able to capture the value and take a lot of that traditional risk that investors are familiar with or have to take on off the table.
Now, why Colombia specifically?
So Colombia has a very, very strict regulatory environment for gold. It's almost treated like a narcotic there, and that has its roots in drug cartels and money laundering and smuggling. So it's very difficult to be able to get a license to possess gold. You basically traditionally have to go through the geological exploration process to prove up that there's gold, and to be able to then raise the money, develop a mine, extract it, to then be able to then sell that gold. And so because of that history, the government is very careful about who gets those licenses and how they're issued. And so because of our existing license that we have, so we have an exploration license, and we do have very strong ties on the ground in Colombia from the management team's decades of experience. And we were able to get one of these licenses that basically allows you to buy up gold at the last mile and sell it on internationally. The one caveat is that it has to be exported because the license is meant for international trade. It's almost like a trading house, like a Trafigura or a Glencore, where once your possession in country, it has to be exported. And so that's why it's been kind of so difficult for companies to develop and be able to export gold, because it's just that restricted. There's only 24 of these licenses in the country and only about 12 to 16 that actually operate.
That's very intriguing, and also sounds rather exclusive, to say the least. So when we come back, I'm going to break that down a lot farther. But today, just to kind of get the broader view, you guys are looking to go public here as well. So you're kind of doing a pre-financing round of Reggae, as you are mentioning. Do you want to just break that down for us? Tell us when you're going public, how investors can get involved, and things of that nature.
Absolutely. So the Reggae financing process is a little different from your traditional going public process. It's meant to be able to allow retail investors and your traditional retail and not your typical institutional investors to be able to invest in a company before it goes public. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're giving the opportunity for mom and pop investors to be able to take part in the financing before we're actually trading and before we're actually public. And that's what we're doing here with our financing. It's a 50-cent round with a share and a half warrant. So the shares at 50 cents and the warrants at 75 cents. And you're able to participate in the gold market without the same risk that a traditional company comes with the traditional exploration, financing, market risk, because our model is meant to diversify and hedge that with the trading business. That's a self-sustaining operating business, while also exploring in the property that we have in Santa Rosa del Sur and Bolivar State. So, with that said, the timing here is, towards the end of the year, around Q4 is when we're aiming to list in Canada. It's either going to be the TSX Venture or the CSC. And this is an opportunity that we wanted to be able to open up for your traditional retail investor.
That's great, Sasha. So I want to roll back a little bit farther. I want to know kind of your background. I mean, you have over 7 years of equity research associated in metal mining, the metal mining sector, leading to 15 years of the capital markets, getting experience in that world. Kind of what was that aha moment that kind of got you involved in Madre Tierra here?
So almost dating myself there with all that experience there, but I've kind of been across all functions when it comes to the capital markets, from the trading desk to equity research to banking, also in private equity. And when I worked in equity research for 4 years, I covered gold and precious metal companies, and mainly in Latin America, Central America. So one of the companies we covered there was Continental Gold in Colombia. So I became very familiar with the country, with the potential on the geological front, and also kind of the difficulties on the regulatory front. And what really you learn when covering gold companies and through various market cycles is that, a lot of the time, too much of the business is out of your control. For example, if you need to raise capital, you have to go to the market to continue to drill and to develop your property. And at the same time, you're taking a big risk, because if you don't prove up the resources that you kind of estimated at the market estimated on behalf of your company, it becomes very punitive, especially after, on the capital raising front. And what really drew me to Madre Tierra was that diversification, to being able to be self-sustaining, and that we have a license that allows us to operate from day one and to capture a cash flow day one without having to take the risks and that are out of our hands. So capturing that 20% spread, buying at 80 cents on the dollar to spot, selling it at 98 cents to spot to a refinery, and being able to capture that cash flow and then recycle that money and keep the business growing and scaling, while at the same time taking that excess cash and putting it into the exploration program, putting it into development, maybe even looking at other neighboring assets or opportunities in neighboring countries for other properties. That's what really was the differentiation for me, and that we can be in control of our own destiny with this company.
On that note, Sasha, I appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for coming out.
All right. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Always a pleasure. On that note, I want to pass the question off to you guys. Let us know what you think in that comment section below, and also consider subscribing, because we're going to break this down a lot farther in the future. And obviously, as news comes down the wire, we'll continue to update you here. But stay cool, stay awesome, and as always, I look forward to catching you in the next one.